If you're running on coffee, snacks, and whatever's left on your toddler's plate, you are not alone. Postpartum nutrition can feel like a complete afterthought when you are in survival mode. But here's the thing. What you eat during this season can really make or break your energy levels, mood, and recovery. So today we're talking about the most common postpartum nutrition mistakes and how to fix them while keeping it simple. Hey, I'm Caitlin, a perinatal nutritionist, and I help moms fuel their bodies through pregnancy and postpartum so they can feel their best without all the overwhelm. If that sounds like something you need, please be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. Okay, so let's start off with mistake number one that I see all the time, and that is skipping protein or just not getting enough. And I think this happens because we are just looking to grab whatever is the most convenient, especially in this early postpartum stages where you almost always have a baby attached to you, whether they are sleeping or not. And so we're just like grabbing the toddler's toast off their plate or the crackers, the cereal, because they're easy, right? But here's the issue. Postpartum is a time where there is a lot going on. There is major tissue repair. Our bodies need help with repleting nutrients lost during pregnancy. And so we need protein to help rebuild. Not to mention things that protein help with typically, like stabilizing blood sugar levels, helping support your energy and your mood, keeping you satisfied so that you are not hungry an hour after you have eaten, because postpartum hunger is real, especially if you are breastfeeding. So let's talk about the fix. Okay, we want to try to aim for at least 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. This is pretty generalized, right? You may need a little more depending on who you are as a person, or maybe you might need a little bit less, but I'm just generalizing here for the sake of this video. Most people are going to fall in that 20 to 30 gram per meal parameter. So this could be something like 2 eggs with some Greek yogurt on the side, or your favorite protein smoothie. Maybe if we're talking about a lunch or dinner meal, we are thinking about some leftover chicken with veggies. These are still pretty simple and easy, right? It just requires a little bit more intentionality, making some small adjustments throughout your day. Okay, mistake number 2. We are living off of coffee or caffeine. And listen, look, I love coffee too. I really do. It's my favorite. I wish I just had a coffee IV. However, if you are chugging this all morning long and you are forgetting about your water, you are making things harder on yourself. Dehydration can really impact how we feel. It can lead to fatigue, headaches, and not being hydrated enough can impact your breastfeeding supply, your milk supply. So it is essential. So what we want to do instead, mamas, is start our morning first off with a glass of water. I cannot preach this one enough because it is simple. We are adding it in, and it is going to benefit you to start with that. Hopefully, you've gotten at least 3 to 4 hours of sleep, and you're going to need to have water. I also really love adding electrolytes to my first morning cup of water, especially in this early postpartum stage, which is kind of what I'm focusing more on, but this is helpful at any point, because once you have had a baby, you are postpartum forever, and we want to, again, be supportive of what has happened. So, because after you have gone through these changes with your body, you just need some extra support sometimes. And so, adding electrolytes in, I think, can be really beneficial. Okay, off my little electrolyte soapbox. And on to mistake number 3, which is not paying attention to blood sugar balance. So, if you ever felt like just really exhausted all the time, or you have had something that's predominantly carbohydrates and just felt like a crash, had more cravings, maybe more mood swings, those are some signs that you could be experiencing some blood sugar swings. And so, how I like to coach through this is, what can we add in, right? So let's think about, we've got our carbohydrates here and we have our BFF protein coming in, and they pair really nicely together. It is going to help you improve your satiety. Your energy levels are going to be much more balanced. So if you can pair your carbs with protein, and ideally some healthy fats and fiber, but at least protein, it is going to make a big difference. So instead of just having a banana, let's add some peanut butter. Instead of just having toast, let's try adding avocado and egg. These, like, again, little changes can make a huge difference in how you feel throughout the day. Okay. Mistake number 4 is just not eating enough overall. So again, we have just had a baby and we are transitioning into a really nutrient demanding time in a woman's life. Between just, again, that healing that is going on, hormonal shifts, and if you're breastfeeding, your body is working overtime. There's a lot going on. So we want to make sure that we are nourishing our bodies. This is not a time to, whether you are being intentional or unintentional about this, undereat. Yes, you are busy. Yes, there are so many pressures to bounce back in our society. But I want to really encourage you to look at where that messaging is coming from. Again, whether this is something that you're putting on yourself or it feels societal, this is your time to nourish. We are not skipping meals here, okay? We are focused on just how can we bring in the most nutrient density in a way that feels the least overwhelming. Think about meal prepping, freezer meals, sheet pan, things that are easy to cook. Try to make some batches of snacks that help you prioritize protein. I love energy bites personally. But prepping is a way that you can always make sure that you have things on hand so that when you do need to grab quickly, because you are going to need to, you have things that are really nice and supportive. And if you are breastfeeding, we need to add in extra calories to help your supply levels. So you are going to want to make sure that whatever your baseline calorie needs are, that you are adding about 500 calories more on top of that to support your milk supply. Okay? And lastly, our 5th mistake is forgetting key nutrients for recovery. So our body needs not only those things that we've talked about that are from a calorie perspective, a macronutrient perspective like protein and hydration, it also needs specific nutrients to help with recovery. The big ones that I'm going to talk about today are iron, omega-3s, and magnesium. Iron is really key here because there's blood loss that happens during birth, and if you have had something if you have had something significant like a postpartum hemorrhage, I experienced this in my first pregnancy, you are going to really need to prioritize iron in your meals. And there are 2 types of iron. So we have hemi and non-Hemi iron. And our Hemi is what's found in animal sources, so found in red meats. And then our non-Hemi is found in our plant-based sources. So things like lentils, leafy greens are in the non-Hemi sources. And when you're consuming non-Hemi sources, I recommend pairing it with vitamin C. This is going to help optimize the amount that you are receiving through the foods. So again, if you're having leafy green, add in some red bell pepper and perfect pairing. Okay, then omega 3s. Omega 3s are important because they support brain. They also reduce inflammation. And this is important because postpartum, there is a lot of tissue healing going on. There's a lot of inflammation occurring because of that. And so, if we can use nutrition here, it can be really helpful, especially for things like mood disorders. And so, prioritizing this through our food in things like salmon, walnuts, flaxseed are going to be excellent. Magnesium is another one that is really helpful for our muscle recovery, sleep, and stress. And one of my favorites right off the bat is dark chocolate. However, magnesium is also rich in things like nuts and leafy greens as well. So try to get these nutrients in through our food first. But if you feel like you're struggling or you just need a little bit of extra support, you can also use supplements here to help fill the gaps in. All right. So we just talked about a lot, and I want to recap. So our biggest postpartum nutrition mistakes that I see are not getting enough protein. We are not prioritizing our hydration and leaning into caffeine for energy. We are letting our blood sugar swings run the show, under eating, and missing key nutrients for recovery. If any of these things sounded familiar to you, let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear what you're struggling with the most. And if you found this at all helpful, please be sure to like this video and subscribe. I'm going to be having more topics on postpartum nutrition in the upcoming weeks. I'm going to try to do at least a video weekly, and both here and hopefully in my kitchen as well. So I hope to see you soon, and have a great week.